You ever find yourself just staring at a houseplant late at night and thinking, what are you actually doing right now? We tend to think of them as pretty static, but it turns out they're living this whole secret life, especially after the sun goes down.
So, let's really get into this. It's a simple question, but it's kind of profound. If we all know plants need sunlight to live, then how in the world do they not, die every single night?
I mean, think back to your first science class. It's probably one of the first things you learned, right? Plants need the sun. It's like the golden rule of being a plant. No sun, no life. Or is it? And yeah, that whole magic trick is called photosynthesis. It's this incredible process where plants take sunlight, a little water, and all the carbon dioxide we breathe out, and they turn it into their own food, sugar. And the best part for us, as a bonus, they release the oxygen that we need to breathe. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Okay, but that brings us right back to our big mystery. If the plant's entire engine, photosynthesis, needs sunlight as its key fuel source, what on earth is it doing when that fuel is just gone for hours on end?
So, instead of just guessing, let's actually do some science. We can walk through a really simple but super clever experiment that basically lets us spy on a plant's secret nighttime activities.
Here's the setup, and it's something you could almost do at home. First, you take a gas sensor and seal it up in a bag to see what the air inside looks like normally. Step 2, you pop in some fresh spinach leaves. And finally, step 3, you cover the whole thing up so it's an absolute total darkness. You've basically created a tiny sealed-off night for those leaves. And here you can see exactly what that looks like. On the left, you've got the sensor getting its baseline. Then on the right, the bag with the spinach is completely blacked out. No light can get in, no air can get out. The experiment is officially on. Okay, so take a second. Based on what we know, what do you think is going to happen to the air inside that bag? If photosynthesis is off, maybe nothing happens at all. The levels just stay the same. Well, when the results from that sensor came in, they weren't just a little surprising, they were a complete 180-degree reversal of what you'd expect. So check this out. The expectation, based on photosynthesis, is that carbon dioxide would go down and oxygen would go up. But the reality? In the dark, it was the complete opposite. The carbon dioxide levels actually went up and the oxygen levels went down. The plant was breathing in oxygen and breathing out CO2 just like us. And this wasn't some fluke. The students who ran this experiment were basically like, whoa, this is the exact opposite of what we thought. The results were so clear, so obviously not photosynthesis, that it left no room for doubt. Something else was happening.
Which of course leads us to the million-dollar question. If it's not making food, what in the world is this reverse process? Where's all that CO2 coming from? And why is the plant suddenly using up oxygen?
Well, the answer is a process that's actually going to sound really, really familiar. It's called cellular respiration. You can think of it as the plant's secret breath. Yeah, you heard that right. Plants breathe. And when they're in the dark, they aren't just sitting there waiting for sunrise. They're actively breathing in a way that is shockingly similar to how animals and, even you and I stay alive.
Think about it like this. How do we get energy? We eat food and we breathe in oxygen to burn that food for fuel. And what do we breathe out? Carbon dioxide. Well, look at the plant at night. It's doing the same exact thing. It's taking that sugary food it made all day, it's taking in oxygen, and it's burning that fuel to get energy. And the byproduct? Carbon dioxide.
This table just lays it out perfectly. Photosynthesis is all about storing energy. You put in CO2, water, and light, and you get out sugar and oxygen. Cellular respiration is the flip side. It's all about releasing that energy. You take that sugar and oxygen, and you get out CO2, water, and the energy the plant needs to live. They're perfect mirror images of each other. So it's not like the plant has an on-off switch for one process or the other. It's actually running this incredible balanced energy budget over the entire 24-hour day. So during the day, the plant is basically a solar-powered factory, just cranking out sugar and banking it for later. Then, when the sun goes down, the factory shifts from production to maintenance mode. It starts burning through all that stored fuel to keep the lights on, to repair itself, to keep growing, to do all the things it needs to do to stay alive. So you've got these two totally opposite processes, but they're not fighting each other. They're working together in perfect harmony for one single overarching goal: survival. All right, so let's wrap this all up. What's the main takeaway? Well, plants are living a double life. They are food producers by day and food consumers by night.
And that nighttime process, cellular respiration, is how they power through the darkness. It's the secret to how they not only survive the night, but actually use that time to fuel their growth.
Which leaves us with a pretty cool final thought. We always thank plants for the oxygen they give us all day long, but it's worth remembering that other half of their life and asking, when we're asleep, what are they breathing out into the night air?